Do business in the Cayman Islands, then you've probably heard of Caledonian Bank. Well, my name is Kobi Dorenbush, and I was the Chief Executive Officer of the Caledonian Group of Companies. I became the CEO of Caledonian in 2011, and our challenge was to take a small, privately owned financial services business and compete against larger, better-known players in the field. And one of the ways that we did this was to be unique, act dynamically, and we quickly gained a reputation for thinking outside the box, and it worked very well. We built a successful business that was thriving. Some might even say that we were able to show me the money. But in the words of the great philosopher Mike Tyson, everyone's got a plan until they get punched in the face. So on the afternoon of Friday, February 6, 2015, I received an email that changed the course of my life. I was out of the office at the time, and I received an email forwarded to me by the head of our brokerage group. And his email to me was very simple. He said, "Please come back to the office now." And so I scrolled down the email chain and I saw that the email originated from a lawyer for the Securities Exchange Commission of the United States. And his email was actually very simple too. He said, "Please see the attached temporary restraining order that we obtained in federal court this morning, freezing all of your assets in the United States. More information will follow." So I want to put this into context for a second. In 2015, the SEC made 807 similar allegations. That's about 4 allegations per working day. Second of all, at no point prior to February 6th did any regulator or Justice Department or any type of regulatory agency ever contact us in advance, not from the United States or not from any other country in the world. They froze our assets first, and then they contacted us. Now, we did hear a rumor about a year earlier about some kind of an investigation that we couldn't understand. So we did what any reasonable business would have done. We contacted our lawyers in New York, a very prestigious firm, and we asked them to check into this. So after a couple of weeks, our law firm in New York came back to us, and they said to us that, to the best of their knowledge, Caledonian was not under investigation. So how could this have happened? Well, frankly, the SEC misled the court. They went into the court and they told the judge that they needed to so urgently freeze all of Caledonian's assets without warning because they believed that Caledonian was a risk of flight. Now, what they didn't tell the judge was that, in fact, Caledonian had been in business for 45 years. It had thousands of clients around the world, 65 employees here in the Cayman Islands, and a 3-story office building that it owned in downtown Georgetown. After a few months, the judge realized what had happened, and he turned his anger to the SEC. He called them negligent. At one point, he described what they had done as a stunning display of government overreach. In one hearing, he turned to the lead SEC attorney, who, by the way, was fired a few months later. He turned to that attorney and he said, "It's because of your actions that this bank failed, isn't it?" And the SEC attorney said, "Yes, Your Honor." But the judge's words were only a moral victory. By the time he said them, Caledonian was in liquidation and our business was dead. Over the past 15 months, I've learned a lot of valuable lessons, and those lessons I think apply to us as individuals, and I think that they're important to the HR community. I learned, first of all, in situations like these, people will speak badly about you. They'll speak badly about you and about your business. They'll speak badly about anything and everything that they can. Now, in our case, people who once applauded us for being dynamic and thinking outside the box turned and criticized us for being cowboys. I learned that it's true that in situations like these, you find out who your friends are, and I agree with that, but I also found that in situations like these, you find out what your friends are made of. I'm very thankful for the friends who sent encouraging emails to me, but I'm truly grateful for the friends who got out there and fought against the rumors and shut down the gossip. I read a quote recently by Al Capone, and he said, "Be careful who you call your friends. I'd rather have 4 quarters than 100 pennies." I also learned that in the times of business catastrophe, the stress will follow you home. It'll permeate through every aspect of your life. It'll come into every one of your thoughts, into every one of your conversations, including the conversations that you have with your spouse. You won't realize the extent to which this affects you until one day your 7-year-old daughter says to your wife, "Why are you and Daddy whispering all the time? Are you mad at me? So I'm 15 months down the road, and I still can't understand how this all happened. We did the right things. We acted reasonably. And if that teaches you one thing, it should teach you that even if you act reasonably, catastrophic business situations can happen to anyone. And I'll give you an example. Let's say that you're a partner in a blue chip law firm here in the Cayman Islands, or you work with one of the big accounting firms. Let's say you're flying through Miami one day, and when you land in the airport, you get arrested. The US government alleges that you've been counseling Americans on how to avoid US taxes. You swear that this must be some kind of a mistake, but they decide that they're going to hold you for a few days while they work this out. Rumors of this fly through the media, fueled by your competitors, and eventually you start getting phone calls from your clients who say that they realize that this must be an error, but they really can't afford any negative associations with things being so sensitive these days. And that's it. That's how it happens. Now, maybe your biggest risk isn't the action of a foreign government. Maybe it's a data breach or an information hack, an IT hack. Maybe your biggest risk is a rogue employee who steals from your clients. Now, I wish that I could tell you that there's a magic answer to all of this, that I found the one answer that will solve all of these problems, but the truth is I haven't found that answer. When a catastrophic business situation occurs, it doesn't just affect your business, it affects everything around you. It affects your personal life, it affects your health, it affects your friends, your family, and your reputation. There is no one single answer because there is no one single question. But I do want to leave you with one thought. If there's one lesson that I want to leave you with that you take with you from my talk tonight, it's this. When a catastrophe strikes you, when it strikes you or your business, the one thing that you have to do is keep fighting. Do not stop and do not give up. There may come a time where there's no business left to fight for. There may come a time where nobody's paying you to fight. But you have to keep fighting. One conversation at a time, one day at a time, one speech at a time. Be proud of who you are, be proud of what you have done, and keep fighting. Thanks.